People are strange. Strange. Fucking strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
Strange.
That is strange.
Wow, that is strange. This is strange.
Welcome to another episode of Strange Sauna, everybody. This one is going to be a fun one, okay? A steamer, okay? This one's going to be a steamy, sweaty, disgusting episode. No, I'm just kidding. This one will actually be pretty fun, okay? This has to do with the Damar Hamlin collapse on the field because this is just a weird scenario. They postponed the game, which was just odd. There was a lot of things surrounding the Damar Hamlin collapse that I figured was out of the ordinary, and they're still treating it as if like this guy needs attention. You know what I mean? We're doing everything for Damar Hamlin, and you know, I get it. He collapsed, but everybody gets hurt in the NFL. Why is there so much attention given to this man, right? I want to look at it from the if this was staged point of view. Several people have pointed out that Damar Hamlin's collapse on the field had multiple elements of the initiation ritual of the third degree Master Mason. This initiation is based off of an ancient Egyptian god, Osiris. We've gone over Osiris before. Go back to the Trump Osiris Egyptian god episode. Might be episode number 2 or 3 or so. So just a quick recap. Osiris is a green vegetation god. Vegetation is only possible from the time that the sun rises in the spring equinox through the time that it sets on the year of the autumnal equinox. So Osiris is related to the sun god, and Horus, right? That time of the year is a metaphor for Osiris being alive. He dies, quote unquote, in the autumnal equinox. Osiris is resurrected at the vernal equinox in the form of Horus, the falcon-headed god. And we went over all of these gods. I mean, you got the Osiris, Isis, Horus, and Set, right? Osiris gets killed by Set. You have the Horus battling Set. And that is the day and the night. That is every time when the sun rises, Horus is victorious over Set, kills him, kills the night, and shines throughout the day. And then at night, you have Set battling Osiris or Horus, one of the two, and Set defeats them and rules the night.
From the ancient hieroglyphics in Egypt, we know much about this solar messiah. For instance, Horus, being the sun or the light, had an enemy known as Set, and Set was the personification of the darkness or night. And, metaphorically speaking, every morning Horus would win the battle against Set, while in the evening Set would conquer Horus and send him into the underworld. It is important to note that dark versus light, or good versus evil, is one of the most ubiquitous mythological dualities ever known, and is still expressed on many levels to this day.
The vernal equinox occurs twice a year. This is when the sun is exactly above the equator. So the day and the night are of equal lengths. Freemasonry has an allegorical figure influenced by Osiris named Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff is the architect of Solomon's temple and is a third-degree Master Mason, okay? This guy's no joke. Hiram Abiff is killed, though, while he is constructing Solomon's temple. He is killed by 3 second-degree Freemasons who depend that he gives them the secret word of the Master Mason, which only a qualified Master Mason can have knowledge of. Now, here's where Damar Hamlin comes in, okay? Because Damar Hamlin was born at the vernal equinox, okay? And I have a video, and we're going to just break down this whole thing because this video, this guy does this excellent breakdown, includes a lot of detail, the day and the night. Now, I'm just putting this together. He fell at the 50-yard line, roughly, right? The 50-yard line, in this video, he equates it to the equinox, right? You're in the middle. You're exactly cutting the field in half. And if you're looking at day and night, this guy, Damar Hamlin, was born on the vernal equinox when the day is equal to the time of the night, right? So the thing that I noticed about this right away, and people, God bless them, all over Telegram, Whitney, I know you're out there. Come on, girl. Sending me stuff saying, hey, check this out. There's so many threes going on here. Why so many threes, right? So the number 3 was everywhere. It's on signs, it's on hats, it's on t-shirts, it's on cars, for God's sakes. People painting their bellies with the number 3. You know, you have so many instances of this. So Hamlin himself, he changed his number from 31 to the number 3, less than 3 days from the season opener. So he used to be the number 31, but he changed his uniform to the number 3. And he used to play in college as the number 3. I guess he played as the number 3 his whole life. And so he wanted to change it back. But in this article, it says they were less than 3 days away from the season opener. The Buffalo Bills players changed jersey number days before the opener, blah, blah, blah. The Buffalo Bills are less than 3 days away from their 2022 regular season opener. Safety Damar Hamlin switched from number 3 to number 31. There he is. Okay. So there's one that I just found odd because he did that this year, people. He changed his number this year. Right before all this drama happened. Prior to ending the game, Josh Allen threw for 33 yards. Right? Prior to this collapse. The Buffalo Bills had 3 points at the time of this incident. As player and staff were kneeling around Hamlin, the number 33, he was the only one standing, and his last name was also Neal. What are the odds? This post came out on January 3rd talking about Damar Hamlin's charity, just raising over $3 million shortly after 3 a.m. In the first game after the Damar Hamlin collapse, Bills have a punt return for a touchdown. The last time this happened was 3 years and 3 months ago. You can't make it up, people. You cannot make this up. So check this out. I have this article from the New York Post. Nyheim Hines returns Bills opening kick for a touchdown in the first play since Damar Hamlin collapse. Okay. Now this is the actual play here. Now listen to what I think Tony Romo is one of the announcers here saying that you couldn't write this script. He even says it right here in the NFL. You can't write this script even better.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Miami and the Jets were underway as New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield and down the sideline he goes. This is storybook, an opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin, and this place is absolutely going wild.
Oh, you just said this is storybook. This is almost fate. I just can't believe what just happened. Josh Allen, the same thing. 6 days removed from this incredible scene that we saw with the Bills player down in...
Look at all the threes, everybody. Threes everywhere. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Cincinnati, and now...
Threes on their shirt. They got the pendant. They got the hat. Everywhere. Now listen to what Tony Romo says.
An incredible script. You can't make it up.
Right? It was almost
fate.
like it was going to happen. And you know that wave of emotion, sometimes it...
Okay. An incredible script. Oh, it's almost fate. It was written in the cards. Right? Here's another picture of Damar Hamlin. How many people in this photo? 1, 2, 3. He's doing the heart. 2 halves come together, make one heart, right? Absolutely incredible. The last time this happened was 3 years and 3 months ago. Nutso. Nuts. Okay. All 32 teams changed their Twitter avatar to the number 3. Now, this is one short of the number 33, but taking into account that Hamlin himself wears the number 3, he could make that 33 whole, right? Players wore the pennants. We just saw the pennants all over their shirts, on their jerseys, honoring the number 3. Hamlin awoke 3 days after the event. And when he awoke, he spoke 3 words. Did we win? Come on now. If you look at Gematria, Hamlin equals 33. Collapsed equals 33. Masonry, secrecy, order, MNF, Monday Night Football, equals 33. Postpone equals 33. And if you look at what they're trying to blame his collapse on, commotio cordis, CC, that is 33, right? If you go A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, CC equals 33, right? And a side note, Dale Earnhardt, when he died in his car in 2001 in NASCAR Daytona 500. He was also the number 3 on his car. So what's going on here, people, right? What is going on here? So I have something here for you, okay? Now, if we look at this is the number 3 coming from the occult world, okay? The number 3 plays a prominent role in myth, mysticism, the mystery traditions, folklore, alchemy, ritual, and magic. 3 is the numerical vibration that opens the gateways to the higher planes, the realm of gods. It is the number of bringing something to manifestation into the material world. So what did he just bring to manifestation? He collapsed. Number 3. He changed his number to number 3 on purpose at the beginning of this year. Right? If he was number 31, do you think that there would be a bunch of 31s floating around everywhere? I doubt it. Bringing the manifestation into the material world. Pythagoras said that there was 3, or that 3 is a triple word for the hierarchical order always manifests itself by 3. All the greater religions recognize the expression of the Godhead in trinities. Now listen to this. For example, Christianity has the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Hinduism, the Trinity is the Brahman, Shiva, Vishnu. There are 3 pillars to Zen Buddhism. The ancient Egyptians' Holy Trinity was Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The great goddess of contemporary witchcraft has a 3-fold expression of Virgin Mother Crone. I have no idea what that means. In the Jewish mysticism, there are 3 pillars to the tree of life, which is the blueprint for the descent of the divine into matter and the return ascent to the Godhead. What? The top 3 sephiro, or stations of the tree of life, are the mystical steps to unity, understanding, wisdom, and humility. We've looked at humiliation rituals, the Chris Rock, Will Smith slap, public humility, maybe this Damar Hamlin thing falling on the field in front of everybody's eyes on Monday Night Football, for God's sakes. How humiliating. Maybe that's a humility ritual. I don't know. In the Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Formation of the Kabbalah, 3 is expressed in the 3 mothers, Aleph, Mem, and Shin, which form the foundation of, quote, all others. Aleph, Mem, and Shin are letters of the Hebrew alphabet that mean, respectively, breath, or vital spirit, seas, or water, and life breath of the divine ones, or Holy Spirit. Okay, so the number 3 is significant here. It was chosen for a reason. Not 31, 3. The Western mystery tradition and alchemy are based on the legendary teachings of Hermes Trismegistus. Oh boy, I butchered that, I don't know. Or thrice greatest Hermes. 3 is the ascent of consciousness, represented by the upward pointing triangle and the face of the pyramid. Okay. So bringing it back home to Egypt, the upward pointing triangle, the face of the pyramid. Okay. Pretty spot on here, right? It represents the unification of the body, mind, spirit, and heart, will, intellect. And eyes, ears, mouth. What we see, hear, and speak as products of our spiritual consciousness. Okay, the 3 wise men in the Bible represent the enlightened consciousness, the great work of alchemy, the attainment of material and spiritual gold, takes place in 3 main stages. The Greek philosopher Anatolius observed that 3, the first odd number, is called perfect by some because it is the first number to signify the totality, beginning, middle, and end. Thus, we find in mythology, folklore, and fairy tales the recurrent motif of the triad: 3 wishes, 3 sisters, 3 brothers, 3 chances, blessing done in 3s, and spells and charms done in 3s. Thrice times the charm. So closing this out, it says 3 is also the number of wisdom and knowledge in its association with the 3 fates and the past, present, and future, and the ancient sciences of music, geometry, and arithmetic. Boy, oh boy. Number 3, everybody. It's everywhere. Okay? So let's take a look at this because I really, really think that this guy breaks this down. This is coming from, let me give him some cred here. The Truth Codes. Alrighty, the Truth Codes on YouTube. All right, this is a 40-minute long video. And I want to break down this whole damn thing with you because he puts in all of the information that I want you guys to know. Because when I saw this, I'm like, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. And he adds them all together, and it's so beautiful. So everybody, the Truth Codes, check them out.
On Monday, January 2nd, 2023, an event that transcended the National Football League and sports took place when Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills collapsed on the field of apparent cardiac arrest in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the home stadium of the Cincinnati Bengals. The event dominated all news media. When we examine the details of the Damar Hamlin collapse, we see undeniable elements of the initiation rites of the third-degree Master Mason.
Now see this? This is the Hiram Abiff ritual. They're all kneeling around him, right? They're huddled around his body. This is Hiram Abiff.
Even if the cardiac arrest actually did happen and was authentic, the question still remains as to how so many of the elements involved fit so perfectly with the third-degree Master Mason initiation ritual. In the modern day, there is plenty of access to information about Freemason ritual for anyone who wishes to be aware of it. Informative publications such as the book Duncan's Ritual of Freemasonry, which describes, quote, Masonic initiation rituals along with grips, passwords, and ceremonial objects to include the 3 basic degrees of ancient York Rite and 4 additional advanced degrees with extracts, appendix, and over 100 highly detailed illustrations, unquote. It was originally written in 1866. Again, these are ancient rituals that are ongoing in the modern day. The 1825 work of William Morgan, who published Illustrations of Masonry, which may have cost him his life.
Okay, so I do like the added bonus right there. You know, he had to pause the video and add that in there. I like that. I like that stuff.
William Morgan disappeared from Youngstown, New York. Youngstown, New York is in the Buffalo Niagara Falls metropolitan area.
Buffalo.
The same metropolitan area of the Buffalo Bills, for whom Damar Hamlin plays. Countless other works on Freemason ritual and allegory is available, including those of Masonic scholar Manly P. Hall. Central to the Freemason allegory is Solomon's Temple and the Osiris legend of ancient Egypt. Osiris is a green vegetation god who is slain by his evil brother Set in legend. He is later resurrected in the form of Horus. This is a metaphor for the sun dying at the autumnal equinox, killed by Set, hence the English phrase sunset. The sun and vegetation, along with it, remains dead in the underworld of winter before being reborn at the vernal equinox.
In the death of winter or of night, they say.
Central allegorical figure of Freemasonry is third-degree Master Mason Hiram Abiff, who is not only Osiris, but the master builder and architect of Solomon's Temple. He is killed by one of 3 ruffians, Jubilum. Just as Osiris is killed by Set, Hiram Abiff is killed while constructing Solomon's Temple. The 3 ruffians who attack and kill him are second-degree Masons, known as fellow craft Freemasons who attempt to force the secret word of the Master Mason, also known as the secret name of God, which only some third-degree Master Masons know. The second-degree 3 ruffians attempted to force that word/name from Hiram Abiff.
Now see how Hiram Abiff was murdered on the checkered floor? Duality. Sun and the moon, dark and light, good and evil.
He dies protecting the secret, also called the lost word of the Master Mason. Hiram Abiff is a martyr. The ceremony, typically done on September 23rd, that honors this allegory is called the Martyrdom of Hiram Abiff, which is enacted during the initiation rites of third-degree Master Masons and has been illustrated in Freemason ritual textbooks. The George Floyd narrative is an example of a major historical event that was done in accordance with the Osiris legend.
Now, this is great because he brings in the George Floyd ritual as well. All right, so you're going to get little hints of that coming in. But brilliant. Check it out.
And the Freemason Martyrdom of Hiram Abiff allegory. Osiris is killed by Set at the time that the sun sets on the year, at the autumnal equinox, the time of the zodiac sign of Libra. The Martyrdom of Hiram Abiff ritual is typically observed on September 23rd, the start of Libra. George Floyd was a Libra.
Ooh.
In the Latin cipher of English Gematria, sunset.
Now, he's going to have a lot of Gematria in this, people, okay? I know there's not a lot of fans out there of Gematria. There's some people who like it because, you know, it does paint a picture. It does tell a story of, okay, like, yes, this word sunset here equals 525. Okay, that's great. But a lot of words will equal 525, right? So just remember that. Okay, moving on.
Has a value of 525. Like the date, May 25th, on which George Floyd died. May 25th can also be stated as 25th May, written 255. Secret name of God has a value of 255 in the reverse ordinal/reverse simple cipher of English.
Okay, now this is another thing that I hate about Gematria. Is like there's so many damn ways. So many damn ciphers, okay? Reverse ordinal cipher of the blah, blah, blah. It's like, how many ways is there to, like, decipher the language? You know, I guess if you're trying to be secretive and stuff, I guess it makes sense you'd want to create your own.
English Gematria. Remember that Hiram Abiff is killed by second-degree Freemasons in protecting the secret name of God only known by Master Masons such as himself. The reverse ordinal cipher of English Gematria reverses the order, so starts with Z or Z, which is normally the last.
Now, this is what I like because he actually explains these Gematria ciphers. You know, this is the reverse simple, reverse ordinal, all this stuff, right? Where Z is now 1 instead of A. No, it's not for everybody.
Last letter, it starts with that as the first letter and gives it a value of 1 and continues on the sequence through to A as the last letter with a value of 26. The value of each letter that makes up a name, word, or phrase in Gematria is added to give that name, word, or phrase a numerical value. In the Martyrdom of Hiram Abiff ritual, one Mason lies on his back on the ground playing the dead Hiram Abiff.
Hamlin.
He is flanked on either side by a row of genuflecting brethren. They call it kneeling, but technically it's genuflecting. Kneeling is done on 2 knees. Genuflecting is done on 1 knee. So technically it's genuflecting, but it is generally referred to as kneeling. This Freemason ritual and allegory is the source of the kneeling protests. George Floyd is
number 33
Osiris
right there.
and Hiram Abiff in allegorical reenactment. A reenactment that is done in third-degree Master Mason initiation ceremonies. The allegorical reenactment also took place in Cincinnati when Damar Hamlin's Buffalo Bills collectively genuflected.
There he is. See?
Specifically, the medical staff genuflecting on either side of Damar Hamlin is the exact image of the Martyrdom of Hiram Abiff third-degree Master Mason initiation ritual, where 2 rows of brethren flank either side of the initiate lying on the ground. Remember that William Morgan revealed this ritual in 1825. In 1825, the only people who knew about these rituals were initiated Freemasons. Even entered apprentice or fellowcraft first or second degree Freemasons back in the 1820s had no idea this was in 1825, and it was William Morgan in his book Illustrations of Masonry.
There he does it again.
To
I
reveal
love
this
it.
to the public, and he paid for it in 1826. William Morgan disappeared in the Buffalo, Niagara metropolitan area, Youngstown, New York.
So this guy
The
revealed,
score of the Buffalo Bills Cincinnati.
real quick, that guy revealed a secret and apparently just disappeared after he revealed it. He either disappeared or was from Youngstown, New York. Okay, here we go.
Bengals game at the time of the Damar
3
Hamlin
points.
collapse, 7-3, reflects the Hiram Abiff ritual code in Gematria. In the reverse ordinal / reverse simple cipher, Osiris has a value of 73. Remember that Hiram Abiff is a Freemasonical adaptation of Osiris, the ancient Egyptian vegetation god who was killed by Set. Hiram Abiff is killed by the 3 ruffians. The score at the time was 7-3. Genuflecting is done as part of third-degree Master Mason initiation rites. This was reenacted by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry at the coffin of George Floyd, who played the role of Osiris.
Now, see the gold coffin. I mean, the Pharaoh had a gold coffin. George Floyd had a gold coffin. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't make this up, everybody. You know, why'd they give George Floyd a damn golden coffin? My God. And remember when Nancy Pelosi and all of the Jerry Nadler, all of them did the, well, not Jerry Nadler, because he was unable to drop to one knee. But they all dropped to one knee wearing the African garb. They were genuflecting. They were doing something part of this ritual, I believe, because George Floyd was no doubt one of these rituals as well.
/ Hiram Abiff. Remember that William Morgan revealed this ritual in 1825 and disappeared in the Buffalo, Niagara metropolitan area. The score of the game at the time, 7-3, is coded in Gematria. In the ordinal cipher, that is A equals 1 through to Z or Z equals 26, Hiram Abiff has a value of 73. Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest after making contact with his opponent named Higgins, which has a value of 73. It can also be said to be 3-7, the score, like 37, the English Gematria value of sunset. This is in the reverse reduction, also known as reverse Pythagorean cipher, which starts with Z as the first letter with a value of 1 and ends with A as the last.
Again, why you gotta have this Pythagorean stuff now? You're adding in another? Okay.
Letter. It is a single digits only cipher, so double digits are reduced to single digits. This is done by adding the individual digits of the double digit value and deriving a single digit sum. A is the last letter and the 26th because it's reverse. 2 plus 6 is reduced to single digits, 8. So A, the last letter, is 8. This is done with all double digit values. It's a single digits only cipher. Sunset has a value of 37, like the score 3-7 in the reverse Pythagorean or reverse reduction cipher of English Gematria. Set is the deity who kills Osiris. Set equals 37 in English Gematria.
Number 3, here he goes. He's going to explain it all to you.
The central number, which has become practically the signature of Freemasonry, is the number 3. Damar Hamlin wore jersey number 3. At the time of the injury and the score at the time that the game was stopped, his Buffalo Bills team had 3 points, reflecting his jersey number. There are 3 degrees in York Rite Freemasonry. First degree entered apprentice. Second degree fellow craft. Third degree master mason. Hiram Abiff is attacked by 3 ruffians, Jubilo, Jubilah, and Jubilum. Hiram Abiff, King Hiram of Tyre, and King Solomon are said to be the 3 Grand Masters of the Masonic order. Hiram Abiff and Osiris/Horus are of the archetype of Jesus Christ, who is resurrected after 3 days. Jesus of the Bible was tried before Caiaphas, Herod, and Pontius Pilate. Like the 3 ruffians. Pontius Pilate would be the equivalent of Jubilum, who's the 3rd ruffian who actually kills Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff's body is found by 3 master masons. The 3 ruffians represent the state, the church, and the public mob. 3 entities, which respectively rule by fear, superstition, and ignorance. They are the king, the pope, and the executioner.
So the public mob is the court of public opinion. Ignorance. Because you're basically judging people by what you know based off of just conjecture or based off of what the fake news tells you. I mean, come on now.
Monday Night Football game and cardiac arrest of Damar Hamlin occurred on January 2nd, which is the time of the year when the planet Earth is closest to the fixed star Sirius, which is close to the 3 stars of Orion's belt, known as the 3 Kings.
That's bizarre right there.
So the time of the Damar Hamlin injury, January 2nd, is the time of the year when Earth is closest to the 3 Kings of Orion's belt.
3 again?
This is why it is this time of year, specifically on January 6th in Europe and Latin America primarily, Christians celebrate 3 Kings Day.
January 6th.
Celebrating the so-called 3 kings who had the message of the birth of Jesus. It is the 3 stars of Orion's belt that are close to the star Sirius. This time of year, Earth is closest to those 3 stars, 3 kings. 3, very much a sacred number in all traditions, Freemason mysticism and mainstream Abrahamic religions such as...
Now, I like that he's bringing in astrology because I do think that these cults, these, I don't know if Freemason, you consider that a cult, but I think that they're obsessed with astrology. I mean, even the Pope, for God's sakes, has the Lucifer telescope. So, yeah, astrology is a big deal here.
As Christianity. There are 3 pillars in Freemasonry. Twin pillars and a middle pillar. Notice that the tracing board is facing east, not north. It must be turned 90 degrees in order to face north.
Now check this out. I've never done this.
From this perspective, the pillars become horizontal. The north pillar is the Tropic of Cancer. The south pillar is the Tropic of Capricorn. The middle pillar is the equator. There is an evil version of this ritual in 2013 in the West Gate Mall Massacre in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa. West Gate is a reference to the West Gate of Solomon's Temple, where Hiram Abiff is attacked by the second-degree fellowcraft ruffian.
Okay.
The West Gate Mall attack occurred at the autumnal equinox, September.
So he didn't say it, but the mall, the Westgate Mall, was owned by the Israelis or something. That's what it said there on the screen.
21st through to September 24th. The equinoxes are when Earth's equator is on the same plane as the center of the sun. So the equator is related to equinoxes. And equinoxes represent the death of the sun / Osiris / Hiram Abiff, and the resurrection of the sun, resurrection of Horus and Hiram Abiff. Nairobi, Kenya was chosen for this sorcery because it is located at 1 degree 15 minutes latitude, which is within a quarter of a degree of the equator. The 50-yard line, the center of the field, is where Damar Hamlin's cardiac arrest occurred.
Mm-hmm. The vernal equinox. He was born on the vernal equinox, which is the day or the time where the day and the night are exactly the same. Same lengths. 50-yard field, half the field.
The 50-yard line is the equator, the middle of the field, the middle of the planet Earth. The goal lines and the end zones are the tropics. In this example of Freemason iconography, the pillar to the right is the autumnal equinox, the time of Libra, indicated by the gavel. Libra's symbol is the scales of justice. This is the time when Hiram Abiff / Osiris is killed, and the sun sets on the year. Hiram Abiff was killed by a mallet, which is a hammer, which is similar to a judge's gavel. The pillar to the left has an hourglass.
The hammer? Who recently just got attacked by a hammer? Okay. Just saying. They choose these things, I think, on purpose, and I think they put it out there on purpose. Very interesting.
With equal amount of sand in the top and the bottom. This is the spring vernal equinox, the time of Aries. Damar Hamlin is an Aries, the time of the resurrected Osiris in the form of Horus, known in ancient Kemet as Heru. The George Floyd narrative is based on this allegory. George Floyd was a Libra, the autumnal equinox. He was said to have a twin brother, not literally, but affectionately referring to former NBA basketball player Steven Jackson, his friend who closely resembles George Floyd.
You guys remember this?
Steven Jackson.
People were pointing out that that's his twin. But look, the twin pillars. You know what I mean? So it's like spot on here.
Is an Aries. The twins, George Floyd and Steven Jackson, represent the autumnal and the vernal equinoxes. Represented on the twin pillars in Freemason iconography, so George Floyd passed away in the twin cities of Minnesota. At the equinoxes, the equator is on the same plane as the sun's center. The 50-yard line is the equator. Hiram Abiff dies at the autumnal equinox and is resurrected at the vernal equinox. Damar Hamlin, born at the vernal equinox. The score, 7-3, when this happened. In the Pythagorean or reduction cipher of English Gematria, 50-yard line has a value of 73, like the score, 7-3. At the time. The reduced cipher is A through Z, or Z, 1 through 26, with double-digit values reduced to single digits. For example, 26 is 2 plus 6, 8. 26 is reduced to 8. So Z equals 8 in the Pythagorean or reduced cipher of English Gematria. 50-yard line and Hiram Abiff have double overlap in Gematria across two ciphers.
Okay, so here's the deal. It's like you got to do so much rearranging, so much, these are the rules to get it into this number. But where you have these double overlaps and these triple overlaps, quadruple overlaps, where you have all of the ciphers equaling the same numbers, that's where I can see something more than just a coincidence, okay? I don't know, just to give Gematria some credit. Okay.
The name Hiram Abiff also represents the phrase, high ram above. The ram is the symbol for the zodiac sign of Aries. Aries is the high ram above. Damar Hamlin's zodiac sign. Aries and the vernal equinox are represented in ancient Egyptian mythology as Horus. Horus is a Greek name. The ancient Egyptians / Chemetians used the name Heru. After Damar Hamlin's injury, the game was terminated at 5:58, which means there were 5 minutes 50.
Okay, so Hiram and Horus mean high above. And it makes sense because he's a falcon, right? So he flies, he can see everything. It's the all-seeing eye, high above. Can see everything. He's up there.
58 seconds left in the first quarter. 5:58. In the English extended cipher of Gematria, Horus has a value of 5:58.
Okay, now the number 33 here.
Besides the number 3, the number most identified with Freemasonry is 33. The highest degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry is the 33rd degree, which is an honorary degree. 33 is a master number in numerology, so it's associated with the Master Mason. When the entire Buffalo Bills team genuflect, as Master Masons do during the initiation ceremony of a Master Mason, Master, the keyword here, the Bills player number 33 stood out as the only one not genuflecting. This is by ritual design. The player wearing the Master number 33 is cornerback Siren Neal. Hiram Abiff is known as the widow's son. When Set kills Osiris, his wife Isis becomes a widow. The widow is Isis. The widow's son is Horus. The name Siren Neal has double overlap in Gematria with the widow's son. Death of the sun, resurrection of the sun. The sun is a major metaphor. The sun is the ruler of the zodiac sign of Leo. Number 33, Siren Neal, is a Leo. He represents the sun. In the Latin cipher of English Gematria, sun has a value of 330, which is the same as 33 in numerology, where 0 can be dropped. Hiram Abiff is killed protecting the, quote, lost word of the Master Mason, unquote, which equals 330. Again, the same as 33 in numerology.
Okay, so he's saying that number 33 was representing Horus in this scenario. All-seeing eye, he rises above everybody else because he was standing above everybody else. That's why he was standing. And his name overlaps with the widow's son, you know, in the Gematria stuff. And the widow is Isis. Her son is Horus. Horus is the sun god, floats above everybody, right? Very interesting.
Solomon's temple can be a metaphor for the temple of the head, the twin pillars being the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Leading up to the temple is the 33 vertebrae of the spinal column. Hiram Abiff is the master builder of Solomon's temple. Solomon's father is King David, who is said to have ruled Jerusalem for 33 years. Jesus is said to have died at age 33. Damar Hamlin often wears his eye black in the form of the Christian cross, which is the solar cross, which represents the equinoxes and the solstices, also known as the cardinal cross. The name Hamlin equals 33. This is in the reverse Pythagorean or reverse reduced cipher of English Gematria. Like Damar Hamlin, number 33, Siren Neal, often wears his eye black in the shape of the Christian cross. Damar Hamlin experienced cardiac arrest when he made contact with the 33rd pick of the 2020 NFL draft.
Bro, come on now.
Higgins. 93 is a sun number since the sun is said to be 93 million miles from Earth. Siren Neal sums to 93 in Gematria. Interesting that the martyrdom of Hiram Abiff Master Mason initiation ritual is described on page 93 of William Morgan's book, Illustrations of Masonry.
He did it again. Okay, so the Hiram Abiff ritual was on page 93, and he's saying that 93 because one article described the sun being away, like 93 million miles away from the Earth. So I'm just saying these numbers, you can throw them around, you can arrange them however it's convenient, I guess.
Freemasonry segregates lodges by race. Black Freemasons are Prince Hall Freemasons, which realistically Damar Hamlin most likely is. In the Francis Bacon cipher of English Gematria, Prince Hall has a value of 93. Prince Hall Freemasonry was founded on a day that leaves 93 days in the year. close to the autumnal equinox when Set kills Osiris in legend. September 29th is written 929, a number that should look familiar. 929 is 9 minutes 29 seconds, the amended and now official time given as the duration of the killing of George Floyd.
Now, remember, it used to be 8:46, 8 minutes, 46 seconds. I mean, that was, who was it? Chappelle. He had a whole stand-up comedy. Well, I mean, event, not really comedy. He was talking about George Floyd, but 8 minutes and 46 seconds was the time that everybody was saying, yeah. So they added that chunk of time in there to make it 9:29. Very strange. Very strange.
929, the foundation date of Prince Hall Freemasonry, who have a Grand Lodge exactly 1 mile from the location of the 929 killing of George Floyd.
Bro, come on now.
Minneapolis, Minnesota is on the 93rd meridian west. In English Gematria, Minneapolis, Minnesota has a value of 93. Prince Hall Freemasonry has a value of 330, which in numerology is the same as 33. Remember that William Morgan was disappeared from the Buffalo, New York area after revealing this and other Freemason traditions. Damar Hamlin appears to correspond with Hiram Abiff, who's killed protecting the secret word of the Master Mason, or the lost word of the Master Mason, also known as the secret name of God. One of the Masonic names of God that the legend is said to refer to is Mahabone.
Oh, okay.
The secret word of the Master Mason. I clicked on the first site I saw after searching, quote, Mahabone, and I got an article from reference.com.
So Mahabone is the secret word that Hiram Abiff was murdered for.
It was last updated on March 24th, 2020. Damar Hamlin's birthday. If you want to use the Matrix metaphor, this is the program of the Matrix manifesting. Mahabone is said to mean, quote, the Grand Lodge.
Well, hold on. So that was one website that was updated on the same day as Damar Hamlin's birthday, and he's thinking it's like some sort of... I mean, yeah, I could see that, but websites are updated all the time. Just go to the Wayback Machine. You can see that.
Door opened and used as a Master Mason password. But there's another Freemason word that is said to be the name for God. The secret word of the Master Mason can also be the secret name of God. Gematria reveals why this was the setting, Monday Night Football, for a Hiram Abiff themed event. A Freemason word for God is Jabulon, with two different spellings, but Jabulon, which is shortened as Ja by Rastafarians. In all four base ciphers of English Gematria, 4 different sets of letter-number correspondences, the Freemason name for God, Jabulon, and football are a Grand Slam perfect match.
So now this is where it kind of gets interesting to me. When you have all of these different ways to cipher, I guess, language, and you have, you know, matches across all 4. That's pretty unique, right? I mean, I don't think it means like it's not exact everything, but it's pretty unique.
The ruffian Jubilum kills Hiram Abiff in an attempt to extract the secret word of the Master Mason, aka the secret name of God. The alternate spelling for Jabulon is Jabulon without the H. This way, Jabulon and ruffian is a super match across 3 base ciphers of English Gematria. The greatest sporting event worldwide is the quadrennial World Cup of International Football, soccer. In 2010, it was held in South Africa. The World Cup sponsor, Adidas, named the official 2010 World Cup ball Jabulani.
What?
After Jabulon.
Football.
A Freemason name for God.
Also means football, though, right? Come on now. I don't know if it means football.
It was the 3 ruffians who killed Hiram Abiff, protecting the secret word of God. Adidas's image is crafted on the number 3. It is the brand with the 3 stripes.
Indeed.
The official logo of the 2010 South Africa World Cup which is exoterically an artistically stylized World Cup trophy.
Look at this.
When turned 90 degrees counterclockwise, is the Falcon of Horus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the main artwork that is a stylized map of Africa and a football player is a falcon head when turned 90 degrees counterclockwise. The football is the sun disk that appears on the cheek of Horus. This art piece by New Jersey artist Tyler Ballin depicts the Osiris legend and the Hiram Abiff Freemason adaptation. Hiram Abiff's body was discovered by 3 master masons in legend.
So he's wearing the Adidas in that photo too.
Hiram Abiff is Osiris, slain by Set. Osiris's consort, wife, was Isis, who brought him back to life eventually. The female in the art piece represents Isis, the widow. The resurrected Horus, Heru, is Isis's son, the widow's son, who is Hiram Abiff to Freemasons, who died protecting the secret name of God, which could be Jabulan. The Adidas football of the 2010 South Africa World Cup was named after the Freemason name for God. It was named Jabulani. In the art piece, it is no coincidence that the Hiram Abiff / Heru character is wearing Adidas. The artist's name, Tyler, is the title of the Freemason who guards the door of the Masonic temple or Masonic hall and only lets in those who know the password, which is the word of the Master Mason that Hiram Abiff died protecting.
Jeez-o. Francis Bacon.
Francis Bacon was a...
Now, when I first saw this, I was like, wait a second. What does Kurt Cobain's daughter have to do with this? And then I remembered that's Francis Bean. Not Francis Bacon.
Polymath, a person who mastered multiple skills and is venerated at saintly and demigod levels by English-based secret societies in Britain, Australia, United States, and elsewhere. Francis Bacon was one of the authors of the works of Shakespeare and the King James Bible. Francis Bacon also authored The Legend of Hiram Abiff. Francis Bacon authored all these influential works coded with the Gematria ciphers called the Francis Bacon ciphers, also known as the Rosicrucian ciphers, also
another
known as
cipher,
the
damn it.
Elizabethan ciphers. Manly P. Hall, who has also written on Freemason ritual and the influence of Francis Bacon on them, teaches the Francis Bacon ciphers in his epic classic, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. The Francis Bacon ciphers of English Gematria follow the same rules as simple/ordinal, including the reversal and the rules of reducing double-digit values of each letter to a single-digit value. In Francis Bacon, aka Rosicrucian, aka Elizabethan ciphers, I and J have the same value, as do U and V, as they used to be interchangeable with each other in official spelling. Since Francis Bacon at least co-authored the Hiram Abiff legend for British Freemasonry, which influenced American Freemasonry, York Rite primarily for obvious reasons, let us look at the Damar Hamlin incident through the lens of Francis Bacon Gematria ciphers.
Okay, let's do it,
The whole incident took place around the 50-yard line. Damar Hamlin is of the zodiac sign of the spring equinox, Aries, when the sun is resurrected, the metaphor for which is Horus, the god of Kemet/Egypt, symbolized by the falcon, which is the basis for the eventual resurrection of Hiram Abiff. Horus is actually a Greek term. Actual Egyptians called themselves Kemet, and they called Horus Heru. In Francis Bacon's symbol, Aries has a value of 50. Heru also equals 50. Heru is 50 in the Francis Bacon reverse, as well as symbol.
Throws out the reverse.
Many Freemasons spell the name Hiram, C-H-R-A-M. This is how Hebrew is often transliterated. An example is the well-known Jewish holiday close to the time of Christmas, Hanukkah, that is often spelt with a C-H for the H.
I've never seen Hanukkah spelled C-H. That's very odd.
Sound. Manly P. Hall is an example of a Freemason authority who spelled Hiram, C-H, H-I-R-A-M. And he is well versed in Francis Bacon's influence on the Hiram Abiff legend, as well as on Francis Bacon's Gematria ciphers. Hiram, C-H-I-R-A-M, in the Francis Bacon simple/ordinal cipher, has a value of 50. So you see how 50 is central to this Hiram Abiff Horus Heru ritual that took place at the 50. Remember that the rapper named 50 showed up by surprise at the most recent Super Bowl featuring Cincinnati? Maybe this is an omen for that. 50. Damar Hamlin obviously...
Remember this? People were calling him 50 pounds or something because he gained some weight. Hanging upside down, dude. You're going to choke yourself.
Will not play at the Super Bowl if the Buffalo Bills make it to the Super Bowl, but he may make an appearance as an inspiration and a feel-good story, which is what the nation and audiences like to see. If so, he would represent the resurrected Horus. Remember, he's an Aries. Horus is the spring equinox. And the coin toss for the Super Bowl is done at the 50-yard line. Heru was also known as Heru Ur, which has a value of 37 in reverse reduced, like the score 3-7 at the time of Hamlin's cardiac arrest. Heru means high above. The ram, the symbol of Aries, like high ram above. High rum abiff. It is a noteworthy aspect of the pattern that so many of these Heru, Horus, Osiris-based Hiram Abiff Freemason rituals center on principal characters of African descent. Damar Hamlin, George Floyd, the only football World Cup ever to be held in Africa. The 2010 South Africa World Cup had the Horus logo, along with the naming of the official ball, Jabulani, after a Masonic name for God when Hiram Abiff was martyred protecting a secret name of God. The Westgate Mall Massacre, West Gate of Solomon's Temple, where Hiram Abiff is assaulted at the autumnal equinox in 2013 on the equator in Nairobi, Kenya. In the 1999 NFL NFC playoff final, there was a kneel gate controversy when the Minnesota Vikings failed to kneel and go into halftime up by 13 points, and instead ended up going into halftime only up by 6 and eventually losing by 3 after overtime. The Minnesota Vikings opponent in that game was the Falcons.
Oh,
the horse symbol. In a game where they bucked basic football tactical convention and refused to take the knee. The Vikings head coach responsible for the inexplicable decision was Dennis Green. Green, a reference to Osiris, who is green. Osiris is resurrected as Horus at the vernal equinox, who is the falcon. Dennis Green was African American. The Vikings quarterback who fumbled to set up the Falcons' ensuing touchdown was Randall Cunningham, one of the very few black quarterbacks in the NFL at that time. Randall Cunningham is an Aries, born March 27th. Just as Damar Hamlin is an Aries. Just as George Floyd's quote-unquote twin, Stephen Jackson, is an Aries. The time of Heru, the Falcon, against the Falcons, who scored on a 14-yard touchdown to end the first half as a result of Dennis Green's refusal to kneel and take the knee. It was a 14-yard touchdown pass by the Falcons. 14 is an Osiris number. In legend, after killing Osiris, Set cuts his body into 14 pieces.
Now remember this. Set distributes the 14 pieces all over the world, and Isis has to go find them. She finds everything except for the phallus, and thus creates a monolith, or a monolith. She creates a monolith and sits on it, and then that is how Horus was born, via prosthetic penis, if you will.
So 14 is an Osiris reference, as well as the green of Dennis Green. The Osiris number 14-yard touchdown that was scored as a result of the Minnesota Vikings' failure to take the knee. A no-risk move that would have ensured a 13-point halftime lead was caught by Falcons Horus wide receiver Terrence Mathis, whose touchdown celebration was genuflecting in the end zone, taking the knee. And this was in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Common move, though.
1999.
Everybody does that.
At the center of the frame, hovering above the fallen Damar Hamlin, is the umpire, whose uniform number just happens to be the Osiris number 14.
But see, like, here's what I don't get is, what about this guy, number 99? What about this guy, number 27? This guy, 49, 64, 77, 92, the other ref. You know, it's like, why are you pointing out just the one guy? You know, come on.
The score was 7-3. Osiris has a Gematria value of 73. We know why the city of Buffalo played into this narrative, since the Freemasonic legend of Hiram Abiff was first revealed to the public and non-initiated by William Morgan, who was punished for doing so when accosted in the Buffalo-Niagara metropolitan area. But why is Cincinnati the location of the event? The legend of Hiram Abiff takes place in Jerusalem, where Hiram Abiff is overseeing the construction of Solomon's temple. The moniker of the city of Jerusalem is the City of Seven Hills. The same nickname is shared by the city of Cincinnati.
Would you look at that? Okay. I think that's pretty much it, people. What do you think? He puts a lot of information together, and I know I was saying, like, this is the best thing I've ever seen since sliced bread, but there's a lot to it where it's, the Gematria is take it or leave it. You know, there's a lot of coincidences. Just, you know, there are. You know, you're pointing out one thing, but there are many things. So why are you just pointing out the one player, for example? So yes, I like this. I love this. I look at these things and I go, okay, that's weird. But when you see a bunch of just connections with the number 3, I mean, the number 3 is everywhere. Why did he change his uniform to the number 3? You know, there was something else about the number 17 as well, because the 17 has to do with Osiris. I've heard that Osiris was risen from the dead on the 17th day of the month. Now, when Damar Hamlin switched his jersey number from 31 to 3, he did this on September 5th, 2022, exactly 17 weeks before the Week 17 matchup where Damar Hamlin went down. So he switched his uniform 17 weeks exactly on the day. And notice that September 5th could be written by like 59, or 59 is the 17th prime number. Freemasonry in Gematria equals 59. The nation, the United States, was created in 1776, 59 years after 1717. Also on September 5th, when Damar Hamlin changed his uniform, this was from September 5th through the remainder of the year, that left 117 days. And then on January 2nd, 2023, the ritual was on the 117th day of the NFL season. Buffalo Bills also equals 117 in Gematria. There's a lot to it. So the numbers, you know, I do think that there are some weirdos out there that are all into the numbers. The numbers have to do with some alignment with whatever, you know, like math religion, math cult. I don't know. You call it what you will. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you do, leave a comment and let me know what you think, because this is just weird, man. It's weird, right? So, and we'll see if Damar Hamlin shows up at the Super Bowl as a guest. You know, a guest appearance. I am calling that the Bills and the Giants go. I think that the red, white, and blue is a number 3 thing too. I don't know why, just because the 3 colors, but I think red, white, and blue will be represented at the Super Bowl, whether that just be the Bills or it's the Bills and the Giants. We shall see. Yeah, leave a comment if you like this. Love you guys. Till next time. Peace.